Hello, everyone, and welcome to blog episode number 3, The Breath as Medicine. As we mentioned in the article, in our lifetimes, we take about 600 to 700 million breaths and consume about 15 to 17 million liters of oxygen in our entire lifetime. We are oxygen machines, and we can live days or weeks without food or water, but only minutes without oxygen. Oxygen is the main fuel in the body for every single cell. For myself, as a yogi, as a person who loves yoga, and who even trained to be a yoga instructor so that I would understand it more deeply, we actually experience yoga breathing as a strategy for our exercise. There are different breaths, like the breath of fire, Kapalabhati breath, skull breath, and different types of alternative nasal breathing. It's because in ancient India they understood that the way we breathe can change the way we live and the way we heal. So that's very important. So there is alternate nasal breathing and an advanced breathing called Tumo breath breathing. And what this is where you accelerate your breath. This is a technique for breatharians and pranayama because it actually creates energy entered into the body from the external environment. So it's that profound, it's that amazing. So in terms of formal training in modern Western paradigms, I've studied the Buteyko Technique in Europe and especially spent time studying with Patrick McCune. He is actually a founder of what is called the Buteyko Clinic.com. He is a person who himself has experienced the challenges of breathing problems. When he was younger, he couldn't breathe well, he couldn't study well. He wasn't getting enough oxygen to the brain, the bottom line. When he started to learn the techniques and study under the Buteyko ideas, he recovered, and he was so interested in these techniques that he started teaching this throughout the entire world. He's written many books on it. Another major component of this is Anders Larsen and the Relaxator. That is this device right here. So what happens is, this is resistance breathing. This is where you create a challenge, a slight safe challenge when you exhale, so that your diaphragm, which is a platform that pushes the lungs up and down, the lungs don't have a muscle. So what we want to do is make our muscle that pushes the lungs stronger. It's resistance training just like you learn at the gym. Same exact thing. So these types of breathing, it has a little gauge to increase slowly that resistance. And for myself, I had COVID, and then I had what's called post-COVID asthma. So I was formally tested. I had tested to be asthma positive. I did my breathing techniques with this little device. And what happened is, afterwards, after a while, I was tested formally again. You go into these booths, you exhale as hard as you can, and basically you scream, and then you do all these different things. And they actually see if you can breathe well. Well, I repeated those after using the resistance training, and I was diagnosed no more asthma. So these are the things you can do. Asthma is a known cure through the Buteyko breathing and many other devices. So these are the types of things that you can do. So some of the main concepts that we learn about, that we want to know about as takeaways for today is, number one, breathing through your nose compared to breathing through your mouth. As you can see in the picture in the article of the twins, for some reason, one of them grew up breathing through their nose, as you can see with the smaller structure, and one was breathing through their mouth, where the jaw would actually shrink. The teeth would be condensed into an area where they have to be removed. Nasal breathing gives us 20% more oxygen in our bodies. So that's a big deal. So that's really important, because as oxygen machines, we need all the oxygen we can get. So 20% more is always a good thing. These types of exercises can help reduce brain fog and other things like that. Another main technique and takeaway for today is about the length of your breath. So if you breathe in longer than exhale, that is like hyperventilation. That is actually where you are lower oxygen, or more oxygen, less carbon dioxide, as opposed to the relaxation response with longer exhales and shorter inhales. That goes after your relaxation response, calms the body down. And guess what the name of this thing is? The Relaxator, because longer exhales slow your body down, activate the vagus nerve, and the relaxation response. I have people that use this for panic attacks, and it works really well. So those are the major takeaways. And there's one more quick story. As I've mentioned in other areas of our community, I had a patient, he lost half his lungs through surgery because he had cancer, and this worked. He was surviving, and after many years, he was still doing okay. But he had half of his lungs. So what he did is, when going upstairs, he would stop at each step, wait, breathe in, recover, step by step by step, one step at a time. So I suggested to him to utilize this so that he would actually be able to strengthen his lungs, because it does two things. Number one, it strengthens the diaphragm to move up and down stronger, and then it brings the lung capacity lower, which means more lung oxygen per breath. It's quite profound, but breathing is an incredible medicine. So do your homework and research this, because even at nighttime, there is a technique where if people are breathing through their mouth, you put on mouth tape, it forces you to breathe through your nose, and that is a cure for sleep apnea. So thank you for joining us. Hope you enjoy the article and the pictures, and we look forward to hearing from all of you. And have a great day, and think about your breath. Be mindful about your breath. It can activate fight or flight, activate the relaxation response. It can increase oxygen, and it can even reverse disease. Thank you for your time.